Hello and welcome to Crowforest, the podcast. So last time we left off with October 22, which was the first day of the second production trip and the day where we did a bit of refilming on account of having the repainted walls, which was going to be a bit of a continuity issue. But we got the refilming done last time, so now we should be able to get on to some new stuff with October 23 of 2022. We got a whole lot done today. First, we filmed the candle lighting scene. I got several different angles of Maureen walking over to her altar table and lighting the candles, including a wide shot, a closer-in medium shot, an over-the-shoulder shot, and a reverse shot looking out at her as if from the table. I tried to put the camera actually on the table at first, trying it a couple of different ways, but the shots just looked too cramped and awkward to actually use. And in the end, the thing that ended up working best was hanging my GoPro camera from the cross above her altar with a lanyard. Once the candles were lit, after the third try in the movie, but more like the 14th with all the takes we had to do, Maureen went over to sit on the couch to read. I got several angles of her sitting there, and then a couple angles of her reaction to the candles once again going out. I also got a test shot over her shoulder of the candles going out just to get the angle right. I'll use the remote control tea light candles placed inside the glass jar candles to get this shot later, but I don't have them yet, so we'll have to get that next time. And spoiler alert, we did not get that next time because I forgot the candles, and so I had to get that shot myself later on, but that's later in the book, so stay tuned. Next, we went into her bedroom to get some shots of her sleeping and then suddenly jerking awake, as happened several times in the movie. I'm starting to realize that this script is a little repetitive. I got a step stool and stood on top of it to get an overhead shot of Maureen sleeping in her bed. First, I got a handheld shot filmed through the spinning blades of her ceiling fan, which looked pretty cool, and then I got a steady tripod shot. I actually ended up setting the tripod up on her bed and standing on top of the step stool next to it so that I could get a zoom-in shot. Once I had the shot zoomed pretty far in, I told her to go ahead and jerk awake. I'll have to edit my voice out later, though, on the other hand, a disembodied voice telling her to wake up would be pretty creepy. Maureen jerked awake right on cue and rolled over to jump out of bed. But she kind of got tangled in the sheets, so I reset the camera for a side view of her bed from ground level, and we repeated the action of her rolling out of bed. That should give plenty of cutting options for editing. She ran to the door and flipped on the light, and then doubled back to grab a flashlight from her bedside table since we're pretending that the light went out, even though it clearly didn't. I'll have to cut to a shot of the light going out and then darken the shot of her getting the flashlight. Hopefully that will work okay. Once Maureen had her flashlight in hand, she returned to the door and flung it open. And that's where we had to stop, because it was still the middle of the day and the sun was streaming in through all her windows. Dimming the ambient light in the room in post-production is one thing, but making it look like she's stepping out into a dark room in the middle of the day is way beyond my editing ability. We'll have to try this again later tonight. It's like, oh yes, those aren't sun rays coming in through all the windows, they're moon rays. Very bright moon rays. Well, we waited for the sun to go down. Maureen put in a load of laundry, and I decided to film her doing it. I figured it would be good to have some footage of her doing normal stuff around the house, so that we could do a montage or something. Also, we put my waterproof GoPro inside the washer and turned it on, so that looks pretty cool. While it was still light outside, we went out and got a shot of Maureen pulling into the driveway. I got up on a ladder and put my tripod on her roof, holding it in place since her roof is so slanted. Maureen pulled out of the driveway, circled the block, and came back. The shot looks pretty cool. Wow, 2 paragraphs in a row that ends with looks pretty cool. I might want to mix it up a bit. The last thing I did while we waited for the sun to go down was to refilm the miniature stop motion sequence. When I'd gotten this shot before, I had used a still camera to get individual still pictures of the sequence, turning the miniature a little, taking a still picture, turning it a little more, taking another still picture, and so on. This is standard practice for stop motion, and I have used this technique many times before, but when I edited the pictures together, the slight camera movement from the repeated pushing of the button made the shot slightly wobbly. So this time, in order to avoid that, I used my video camera instead, leaving it running the whole time as I reached in, turned the miniature a little, pulled my hand out of frame, reached in again and turned it a little more, pulled my hand out of frame again, all without touching the camera. So now when I go in and extract the frames from this video, hopefully the playback will be a lot smoother. Once it was finally dark out, we refilmed the shot of Maureen opening her bedroom door and walking out into the dark house with her flashlight. We got several shots of her walking around the house with the flashlight, looking for the intruder, including one really cool shot filmed from a distance with the miniature in the foreground and Maureen going in and out of frame in the background. Hopefully I'll be able to do some color matching in post so that these shots work well with the bedroom shots that we got earlier. And apparently that's it for both that day and for that production trip. I guess we only had 2 days on that one, huh? Okay. Well, anyway, meet me back here next time, and we'll get back to post-production with October 25 of 2022. Hope to see you there.